Have you ever had a man who seemed completely over you, but months later he suddenly comes back? He might text you out of nowhere, watch your stories, or ask mutual friends about you, even though he was the one who walked away. You wonder, if he was so sure about leaving, why can't he seem to forget me? It's not your looks, it's not your body, and it's not the messages you sent or didn't send. The truth is, when a man can't get you out of his mind, it's because two powerful emotional triggers were awakened inside him, and most women have no idea they even exist. These triggers have nothing to do with logic. They're primal, deep, almost uncontrollable. When they're activated, they make a man feel something he can't explain, something that pulls him back to you even when he tries to resist. You see, a man's heart doesn't respond to constant attention, begging or trying to remind him of what you had. It responds to something far more subtle, something that makes him feel your absence like a silent echo in his chest. Something that keeps him awake at night, replaying your words, your eyes, your calm silence when he expected tears. Most women think they need to fight for his attention, when in reality, it's the exact opposite. Because the moment you stop chasing and start embodying what truly makes a man obsessed on an emotional level, everything changes. He starts to remember how peaceful it felt to be around you, how different you were from the chaos he's used to. He starts to compare, to imagine, to question himself. He tells himself he moved on, but his mind betrays him. Every new woman feels temporary. Every conversation feels shallow. Every kiss feels forced. Because his brain is wired to connect emotion with memory. And once you've reached a part of him that most people never touch, he's not just missing you. He's missing the version of himself that only existed when he was with you. That's the secret most women never realize. A man doesn't stay because of what you do for him. He stays and remembers because of how he feels when he's with you. And when those two emotional triggers are awakened, he doesn't just think about you, he feels you everywhere. So before you blame yourself for his silence or wonder what went wrong, pause for a moment. Because if he still can't forget you, even after time, distance, and other women, it's not by accident. It's because something deep inside him was marked by the way you moved, spoke, and existed in his life. And once those two hidden triggers are awakened, no distance, no silence, and no new love can erase that imprint. He may try to hide it, he may pretend he's fine, but deep down, he knows you're the one his mind keeps returning to. Let me tell you a story. There was a woman named Sarah. She wasn't the most beautiful woman in the room, but when she walked in, people noticed. Not because of how she looked, but because of how she carried herself. Calm, confident, almost mysterious. When she met Daniel, everything felt easy at first. They talked for hours, shared little secrets, laughed about stupid things. He felt comfortable with her in a way he hadn't felt in years. She didn't try to impress him. She didn't rush anything. She just was. And that made him fall for her, slowly, deeply, without realizing it. But like most men, when things got serious, Daniel started to pull away. He said he needed space, that he wasn't ready for a relationship, that he wanted to find himself. So one day he walked away, convinced that he was doing the right thing. Sarah didn't chase, she didn't beg, she just said, "I understand," and let him go. Not out of pride, but out of peace. For a while, Daniel felt free. He went out with friends, started dating again, and told himself he was moving on. But something was off. Every time he met someone new, something felt missing. He couldn't laugh the same way. The conversations felt shallow. He'd look at another woman's face and suddenly remember how Sarah used to look at him when she was truly listening. That calm presence haunted him. He told himself it was just nostalgia, that he'd get over it. But months later, she was still there, in his thoughts, in his dreams, in the smallest moments. It wasn't about the messages they used to send or the places they used to go. It was about how he felt around her. He felt safe, seen, understood. And that emotional connection, that invisible bond, became something he couldn't find anywhere else. So one night, after too many drinks, he sent her a message. "Hey, how have you been?" Sarah saw it. She smiled, not with bitterness, not with pride, just with quiet understanding. She knew this moment would come, because once those emotional triggers are awakened in a man, it's only a matter of time before he comes back, searching for the feeling he lost. What Daniel didn't know was that his freedom had actually made him realize the depth of what he once had. He wasn't addicted to Sarah. He was addicted to how he felt when he was with her. And no matter how hard he tried to replace her, he couldn't. Because what he was chasing wasn't another woman. It was the emotional peace he only felt in her presence. Sarah, on the other hand, didn't wait. She moved on with her life, but with grace. She focused on herself, on her inner strength, and on keeping that same calm energy that made her unforgettable in the first place. Months later, when Daniel saw her again, smiling, confident, living fully, something inside him broke. He realized that the woman he thought he could replace was one of a kind, and by the time he understood it, she had already learned to live without him. That's how emotional imprint works. A man can leave your side, but if you've touched him in the right way, not physically but emotionally, you never really leave his mind. Now let's break down what really happened. Not in Sarah's story, but in the psychology behind it. When a man can't forget you, it's not magic and it's not luck. It's because you triggered two deep emotional responses that go far beyond attraction. Most women focus on the surface: looks, effort, communication. But the mind of a man doesn't connect love through logic. It connects it through emotion, through energy, through how he feels when he's near you, or even when he remembers you. The first emotional trigger is what I call emotional safety. It's when a man feels that he can breathe around you. He doesn't feel judged. He doesn't feel like he has to perform, explain, or hide parts of himself. You accept him without demanding that he constantly prove his worth. When a man feels that kind of safety, his nervous system relaxes. He can finally drop the mask that he wears with everyone else. And that's when you start to reach the real him. Not the version that tries to impress, but the one that truly feels. Do you know how rare that is? Most men go through life pretending to be strong, confident, untouchable. So when they meet a woman who makes them feel safe enough to not pretend, their entire system remembers her. Even if they leave, even if they try to move on, their mind keeps replaying that comfort. That's why Daniel couldn't forget Sarah. She didn't try to control him. She didn't fight for his attention. She gave him something deeper: peace. And that kind of peace becomes addictive. The second emotional trigger is ego disruption. Now this one is the opposite. It's not about comfort. It's about contrast. It's when a man realizes that he can't easily predict or control you, when your actions and reactions don't fit the usual patterns. You see, most women, after being hurt, chase. They argue, explain, or overprove their worth. But when you don't, when you simply step back, stay calm, and keep your standards, you disrupt his ego's sense of control. He's no longer sure of his power over you, and that uncertainty makes his mind spiral. Men are wired to seek challenge and closure. So when a woman refuses to give emotional chaos, when she remains silent, centered, and unbothered, it creates a psychological vacuum. He starts to think about you, to question his decision, to fill in the silence with thoughts of you. He might not even understand why. But that mix of emotional safety and ego disruption is what traps him emotionally, because you became both his calm and his mystery. And here's what most women never realize. When you combine peace with unpredictability, you awaken both sides of a man's emotional brain, the part that seeks comfort and the part that craves challenge. You make him feel secure, yet curious, loved, yet slightly uncertain. That duality is what makes him emotionally attached in a way he can't explain. Even after you're gone, he keeps thinking about it, because no one else gives him both. Some women make him feel safe, but he gets bored. Others challenge him, but he feels drained. You gave him both, peace and tension, calm and curiosity. That's why he keeps coming back in his thoughts. So when a man can't forget you, it's because you reached a level that most never reach. You didn't just attract him, you imprinted him. Your energy became part of his internal world, and that's something no message, no social media silence, and no rebound relationship can erase. Even if he tries to replace you, he'll start noticing that every new woman lacks something. She might be pretty, fun, even perfect on paper, but she won't awaken the same balance of peace and mystery that you did. He won't tell anyone this, of course. He'll just say, "It's not working out," without knowing why. But deep down, it's because his emotional imprint still belongs to you. And once a man associates you with that kind of emotional contrast, once you become both his piece and his puzzle, his mind will always find its way back to you. That's why chasing never works. That's why forcing never works. Because the real power isn't in words, it's in energy. It's in how you make him feel when he least expects it. Sarah didn't manipulate Daniel. She didn't play games. She simply understood something powerful, that a woman's silence, confidence, and emotional control can say far more than any long message ever could. She became unforgettable, not because she demanded love, but because she embodied it without needing to ask for it. And that's exactly why he couldn't move on. Here's the part most women overlook, and it's also the reason why so many lose their power without even realizing it. When a man starts to pull away, the natural instinct is to panic, to ask questions, to seek closure, to prove that you still care. But every time you do that, you accidentally deactivate the very triggers that made him emotionally attached in the first place. Think about it. When you chase, you stop being his peace. When you beg for answers, you stop being his mystery. And without peace or mystery, there's nothing left to remember. That's why men often forget the women who gave them everything, but never forget the one who walked away with quiet confidence. Because silence, when used wisely, isn't cold. It's powerful. It gives him space to feel the loss, and that's something his ego hates, but his heart never forgets. A man might pretend he's fine. He might post pictures, flirt, laugh, and convince everyone he's moved on. But at night, when the noise fades and he's alone with his thoughts, that's when your presence returns. Not your body, not your words, your energy. The way you used to make him feel safe and challenged at the same time. The way your absence now feels heavier than he expected. This is where the consequences begin. If you stay in your strength, he starts to question everything. He remembers the peace he felt with you and realizes he can't find it again. He thinks about how calm you were when he left, and that thought eats at him, because deep down he expected chaos. He expected tears, anger, or begging, and when you gave him none of that, he lost the illusion of control. That loss becomes an obsession. He starts wondering if you ever truly cared, if you've moved on, if you've already found someone else. And that uncertainty keeps you alive in his mind far longer than any argument could. But here's the dangerous part. If you break your silence too soon, if you try to remind him of who you are, you interrupt that process. You stop his emotional reflection before it matures. And instead of missing you, he starts to feel pressure again. He reverts to logic, to self-defense. That's why timing and energy are everything. You can't control when he realizes your value, but you can control whether you remain in that state of peace that made you unforgettable. And this is where most women fail. They try to recreate the moment that hooked him, instead of simply embodying it again. They start overthinking, reading old messages, analyzing every silence. But what truly reactivates those triggers isn't effort. It's grace. It's mystery. It's self-respect. Because the truth is, every man faces a breaking point, a moment when the silence becomes too loud to ignore, when he starts to see your absence not as a punishment, but as a reflection of his mistake. And that's when the tables turn. He starts to think differently. What if you're not waiting anymore? What if you've healed? What if the peace he once felt with you now belongs to someone else? That's the moment every man secretly fears, when the woman he thought he could return to is no longer available emotionally, when she's already grown beyond the version he remembers. You see, regret doesn't hit a man when you cry. It hits him when you stop caring, when your energy changes from pain to peace, when you no longer need his validation. That's when he realizes he lost something rare. And that's also when most men start coming back, but not out of love at first, out of confusion, out of curiosity. They want to know if the door is still open, if they can still have that emotional access they once took for granted. But if you've truly stepped into your strength, that's when you hold the real power, because the same triggers that made him remember you can also make him chase you again. You don't need to do anything to prove your worth. You just need to remain in that quiet confidence that made him fall in the first place. Because in the end, the biggest consequence of walking away with peace isn't losing him, it's regaining yourself. And when you do that, whether he comes back or not, you've already won. So, if there's one thing you take away from this, let it be this. A man never forgets the woman who made him feel both peace and challenge at the same time. Not the one who gave him everything, not the one who tried to fix him, not the one who waited endlessly, but the one who walked away with calm strength, knowing her value. Because what truly makes you unforgettable isn't how much love you gave, but how deeply you understood yourself. It's the energy of a woman who doesn't chase, doesn't compete, and doesn't beg to be chosen. It's the energy of a woman who knows she already is the choice, whether he sees it or not. When you reach that level of self-awareness, something changes in the way you move, speak, and exist. You stop reacting, you start radiating, you stop asking for respect, and begin attracting it. And that's when everything shifts. Because the more peaceful you become, the more unforgettable you are. Your silence speaks. Your distance teaches. Your energy becomes magnetic. If he can't forget you, it's not because you were perfect. It's because, in your own way, you awakened parts of him that no one else could reach. And that's a connection his logic can't break, no matter how hard he tries. But here's what you need to remember. You don't build that kind of power by focusing on him. You build it by focusing on you, by healing, by growing, by becoming the kind of woman who doesn't need to be remembered to feel whole. Because once you become that woman, his memory of you stops being your validation and becomes his lesson. Let him remember you not as the woman who waited, but as the one who evolved. Let him see you not through old memories, but through the peace you've built since he left. Because the moment you stop waiting for closure, you become the closure. And when he finally realizes it, when he sees that the silence he once took for granted has turned into your power, that's when it hits him the hardest. Not because he lost you, but because he'll finally understand that you were never his to lose. You were simply a chapter he couldn't handle, in a story he wasn't ready to read. So if he can't forget you, understand this. It's not your problem to solve. It's his mind remembering what peace felt like, and realizing it had a name, yours. Now it's your turn to remember who you are, to stop replaying the past and start rewriting your future, because the real power isn't in being unforgettable to him. It's in never forgetting yourself.